let them know that I am in fact boss and you are not. And really the only thing that we can always count on is that the Omega, or the lowest ranking member, is the one that typically will stay away from the rest of the pack for the most part. If Rudy is really wanting some affection today, or he might come up when there's food today, then he'll come up and join the pack. But for the most part, he kind of stays away from a lot of the pack behavior because he doesn't like to get in trouble. And he's very good at doing that. He's very good at staying away from trouble and keeping himself out of trouble. So when you talk about the Alpha and you talk about the Omega, you might think that being the Omega, or the one that everybody else kind of picks on, or the one that has to submit to everybody else, you might think that that might be the most stressful place, but it's really not, because Rudy's good at it. He knows his place in the pack, and he's good at staying out of trouble whenever necessary. And it's actually probably much more stressful to be Wolfgang. It's kind of like if you think about the CEO of the company. You always have to be the boss, and you always have to let everybody else know the boss, and that's how Wolfgang is. Wolfgang is at the point when he needs to let everybody know that he's in charge, and so that can be a more stressful rank in the pack. When you talk about rank in the pack, a lot of people assume that only the Alphas mate, and that's not necessarily true. If lower ranking members of the pack do mate, the wolves will all raise the puppies just as if it came from the Alpha of the pack. So when you talk about life in the wild for a pack, typically wolves live in a pack in the wild, one, for hunting. It's much easier to take down large prey when you hunt as a pack, and two, for raising a pup. So when wolves live in a pack, and actually wolves here at Wolf Park do the same thing, all of the females in a pack will lactate or create milk. So even our wolves that live over in our East Lake community, even ones that have never had puppies of their own, will lactate come April to May when pups are born. So pups are always born April to May in this latitude of the globe. And the reason for that is that if the mother of the wolves of the pups were to be killed, then any of the females in the pack can take over for raising of those pups. And they do. We had a intern here that was actually part of a wolf rescue facility out in Washington State, and part of their mission is that they help with the red wolf reintroduction program. The red wolf is a different species than our gray wolves here. Most of the species or the types of wolves in the world are gray wolves. When you go up north, you've got the Arctic wolf, but that is a gray wolf. Arctic is just a region in which they live. You probably have heard about timber wolves, and that also just denotes the region in which they live. They are still gray wolves, so the wolves in North America and the wolves in Europe and Russia are all species gray wolf. But there is another species of wolf, the red wolf, and they are extremely endangered. So they have a government program where they're trying to reintroduce red wolves out into the wild. So they will have them born in captivity, and then they will take those pups out to a known den of a wild red wolf, and they will put those wolf puppies into a wild wolf den, and the mother will raise them as if they were her own. And it can happen in the wild that opposing packs might, so somebody in an opposing pack might mate with another pack member on the opposite pack, and their own pack will raise the puppies just the same. So it's not necessarily that the alpha wolves always are the ones that mate and have babies. And as you'll see when food is delivered this afternoon, it's not necessarily true that the alphas are always the first to eat. So in the wild, it would be the wolf that is the hungriest, or the wolf that's closest to the kill. Now, of course, the dominant or the alpha wolf might decide to tell them that they're not happy with the situation and that they would prefer to eat first. But it's not necessarily true that the alpha is always the one to eat first. And certainly not necessarily true here at Wolf Park. We definitely don't always see the alpha eat first, or sometimes see the alpha eat at all. Sometimes he doesn't at all care that the others are eating and he's not. But the one thing you can almost always count on is that the omega, or the lowest ranking, will be one of the last to eat. He doesn't like to get